Life of Pi, a movie and a novel. However, we are not going to talk about the movie or the novel. Today we are going to talk about complex sentences. What does that mean? A complex sentence. So let's go and try to understand what's it about. We have an example here. After the ship sinks, Pi finds himself stranded on a lifeboat in the ocean. This is a complex sentence. It is made of two parts. The first part, after the ship sinks. We can't stop here. The information is incomplete. So we have to complete. Pi finds himself stranded on a lifeboat in the ocean. Let's go ahead and discover what is a complex sentence. A complex sentence has one independent clause and at least one dependent clause joined by subordinating conjunction. Subordinating conjunction, that means connecting word. Still, it's difficult, right? Let's try to understand. We have an example here. I stayed home because it was raining. This is a complex. I stayed home. Yeah, I stayed home. That is independent clause. Why it is independent clause? Because I can have a full stop here and the meaning is complete. So complete idea. Again, independent clause, it gives a complete meaning, complete idea. I stayed home. That's complete. So it can be a simple sentence by itself. Because it was raining, it does not give a complete meaning. Because it was raining. So what? We need something to explain it. So this one is incomplete idea, has incomplete idea, and it is, we have two clauses. The, the independent clause that can stand alone and dependent clause that does not stand alone. Okay? And it starts with the connecting word or the subordinating conjunction. So this one, because. So subordinating conjunction. Okay, let's try to practice. Life of Pi, that's a movie again, and the novel by Jan Martel. Key events. We have to practice complex sentences using some events from that movie. Because he wants to survive, Pi learns to coexist with the tiger Richard Parker. So here we have two clauses again. First one, because he wants to survive, meaning is incomplete. So this one is dependent clause. Pi learns to coexist with the tiger Richard Parker. If I hide this, Pi learns to coexist with the tiger. This one can have a full meaning. Let's go ahead. Another example. Although Pi is afraid of tiger, he chooses not to abandon the lifeboat. So although Pi is afraid of the tiger, again that's incomplete. Even though we have a subject and a verb, but still we can't stop here. We have to complete. So this one is dependent clause. He chooses not to abandon the boat or the lifeboat. This one, if you hide this part, I can start with it, and it can give a complete meaning. So he chooses not to abandon lifeboat. This is independent clause. Another example. Pi keeps a journal and holds onto hope while he drifts at sea. Again, while is the connecting word or subordinating conjunction. So the first part here, Pi keeps a journal and holds onto hope. This one can be independent clause. It can be a simple sentence by itself. If I hide this part, while he drifts at sea, while he drifts at sea, it doesn't give a complete idea. So it is dependent clause. Next one. Since food and water are limited, Pi uses his creativity to stay alive. So, the part that starts with since, which is connecting word or subordinating conjunction, since food and water are limited, I can't stop here. The meaning is not complete. So this one is dependent clause. If I hide this part now, Pi uses his creativity to stay alive. Pi uses his creativity to stay alive. This is independent clause because it gives a complete idea. So don't forget that there should be a subject and a verb in each one. Go ahead. Even though Pi feels alone, meaning is incomplete, right? So this one is dependent clause. It starts with even though. He finds strength through faith and storytelling. So he finds, if I hide again this part, he finds strength through faith and storytelling. This one can stand alone, right? So it is independent clause. When they finally, this is the last one. When they finally reach land, Richard Parker walks into the forest without looking back. So again, this one starts with when, which is connecting word or subordinating conjunction. So when they finally reach land, I can't stop. So this one is dependent clause. Richard Parker walks into the forest. Yes, this is complete. So this one independent clause. Okay. Now, we have a large group of subordinating conjunctions. Okay, some of them tell about cause and effect, something like because, since, and so on. Time, subordinating conjunctions, something like when, before, after, until. That's easy. Condition, to show condition, for example, if, unless, even if, or in case. And purpose, to show purpose, for example, so that, in order that, and so on. Compare contrast, rather than, as if, although, and place, to show the place, for example, the time and the place, you know that. Where, wherever, everywhere, and so on. So you have to practice. In this exercise, we have in each sentence two simple sentences. It was raining. That's a simple sentence. I stayed home. That's another simple sentence. We need to use because to connect them. The same idea. She eats breakfast. She goes to school. Connect them with before. You arrive at the station. You call me. So again, you have to connect them with when. He was tired. He finished the homework. So again, you have to connect it with although. It stopped snowing. I will go to school or I will go to the park. You have to connect it with if. Take a minute, try to think about them, and then see the answers. For the first one, okay, in each one we have two options. You can start with the subordinating conjunction, or you can have the subordinating conjunction in the middle. Like, for example, I stayed home because it was raining. Or, because it was raining, I need a comma. Okay, we need a comma. I stayed home. She goes to school before she eats breakfast. So, in the middle, there's no comma. It's continuous. Before she goes to school, she eats breakfast. Call me when you arrive at the station. When you arrive at the station, call me. He finished the homework although he was tired. Or, although he was tired, he finished the homework. I will go to the park if it stops raining. Or, if it stops raining, I will go to the park. And that's all. Next time, you will learn about the compound complex sentences.